traveler.
Welcome, everybody, to one of the only Wild Hearthstone podcast on the information superhighway that's born to be wild. And I am joined, as always, by the lovely, the talented, the handsome, the nice to talk to, great beard, nice haircut, quarantined Nate Wolf. How the hell are you, Nate?
Man, I'm doing good. Yeah, I had to resort to giving myself a haircut, and it turned out okay. I mean, it's, it's you get what you pay for, right? I'm doing well though, healthy and doing great. I'm very happy to be joined by GulDaniel today from the Hearthstoners Podcast. So, welcome aboard, dude.
Thank you guys for having me on, man. I'm really excited you guys started it back up. I just missed you guys when you guys switched off air. They switched over to Danny and then Saucy and everything when I started listening. So it's nice to hear you guys are back. And the first couple have been a blast, honestly.
Oh, thanks. I'm happy. I'm happy to hear that. We have a good time. I mean, I think we just missed it too much. It's like, all right, we got to come back. And actually, the timing was not bad considering, right when
dropped off the earth.
Well, everyone kind of dropped off the face of the planet, and then the new set just came out, and all these changes, and so,
and then here we are.
Yep.
So it worked out. Yeah. So can I just say what I've been wanting to say all week?
Please do.
I got Legend.
What?
Ooh, let's go, man. Congrats.
Got there again. I just want to point out how hilarious it is, Nate, that last year or 2 years ago now, I hit Legend, and then 3 days later, you hit Legend, and then this time around, you hit Legend, and 4 or 5 days later, I hit Legend.
I know.
It's pretty hilarious. I literally hit it the night after we recorded last week's episode.
And then you got to coach Slizzle to Legend.
Yeah. I did. Slizzle got there. He's now triple Legend thanks to Craig of Canada and Mike Lowe.
Oh, man. Congrats to Slizzle. But congrats, Craig. What'd you hit it with?
I got there. I got there with Reno Quest Mage. But I climbed from rank 5 till rank 1 with Astro's take on discard Warlock, playing like the mid-range version with all the sweet legendary discard minions. But alas, I couldn't quite finish the climb with it, so I said I'm going to switch over to actually the Quest Mage that we talked about on last week's episode. It's basically regular Quest Mage, but Cream Puff switched out a couple cards. He took Polymorph out for Maev, and
the new Prime. The new Prime is in there.
The new Prime, and he put Evocation in, obviously. So it's like just a slight off version of Reno Dragon Quest Mage. And yeah, I got there no problem after I switched to that. And not no problem, but it wasn't that hard. So that was nice. It was lots of fun. And now I climbed up to 700 Legend, and then swiftly I said, you know what? I'm going to get Golden Hunter using Duwin's Knuckles Hunter. I was at 495 wins.
Now you're at 2,000.
Yeah, now I'm at rank 2,000 Legend, and I still haven't gotten the Golden Hunter. So Knuckles Hunter. Duwin might be able to do a lot. I thought for sure I'd get it because my deck title was so good. It just said I'm doing it. But it was spelled Duwin. But alas, I didn't. So I got literally one more game, I think, to get Golden Hunter. So that's on the agenda for this afternoon. Anyway, enough about me, GulDaniel. We didn't really get into you very much. You much handsomer than I envisioned. No offense. So
I'm taken. I don't know how I could possibly take offense to that.
So yeah, I wanted you to tell us about you and what's your place in the wild community.
Okay, so I started playing Hearthstone around Kobolds and Catacombs. So that's the set that really stuck out to me the most. Well, technically Frozen Throne, but I didn't actually kind of doing until around Kobolds and Catacombs. And ironically, Q-Block was the deck that really stuck with me and became the deck that I probably played from Warlock win 100 to Warlock win 1,200. Like,
is that ironic or is that just destiny?
It's kind of part both, because I feel like that first day, I was playing a homemade brewed Q-Block, and it was like I barely knew deck building. It had Homunculus and Dread in it, but it was close.
We forgive you.
Yeah. But I switched over to Wild basically when Kobolds and Catacombs rotated out. I really just can't play my Void Lords, I can't play my Skull, then what am I really doing? And I've just loved WoW. The power level is just insane. The things you can do are insane. For a Warlock main, I'm like I'm championing the we need more deck slots because I've run out of deck slots of only Warlock decks.
Yeah, that has been an issue for me recently too, was the deck slots, because I don't know what this expansion just. I think it also helps that I hit Wild Legends, so I'm kind of dipping my toes in Standard a little more now too. And I do not have enough fucking deck slots. Like I can't seem to do. I'm always deleting. Like I just deleted. I just deleted a Q block, and I love Q block, but it's like, am I gonna play? Like it's the easiest list to kind of get back. You know, like I don't have to search hours of the internet to find it. I just go on Burnt's Discord, and you'll probably have a list there because that's what you do.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, no, I mean. I had to delete 3 deck slots to add your 3 for today. And so
it's frustrating.
Yeah. But no, I'm in the same boat. I mean, it's so weird for me. I think I hit Legend on day 4 before the new set came out. And I've just been memeing my rank in Standard or in Wild is probably worse than Craig's. I'm at, Legend 3000 or whatever. And
oh wow.
I'm joking. And I logged in this morning and I'm around 1500, I think.
Okay.
But Hat challenged me to hit double Legend, so I've been playing Standard. I think I've been bouncing back between Diamond 5 and Diamond 2 like all week. Currently almost back to 3, but we'll see. I mean, I don't really care. It's kind of for fun. I've been playing Hollow Knight. Hollow
Knight's a great game.
Dude, it's fun. It's really fun.
Not wild. But.
It has nothing to do with Hearthstone. I was getting so tilted because I've been playing. I was trying to play, a combination of Warlock and Demon Hunter, and I keep getting sack packed, and it was like, all right, I need to take a break from this. I'm done.
At least we won't have to worry about that much longer. We'll get into that later, but
hey, tell us about your podcast.
Oh, yeah. So the Hearthstoners was started because Casual Fridays, we used to be, we still are best friends, but we used to live a lot closer to each other. And then he moved away a couple hours away, 3-4 hours away. And we were still hanging out regularly, Discording and playing Hearthstone. Like, he suggested one day that we, record it. And for laughs, and maybe we'll put it out, and if it's just us that listen to it or hear it, maybe we'll have fun. And it's probably the most unprofessional situation ever. Like, I don't know, it's literally just us hanging out. We have a guest on and we tell him beforehand, it's like, listen, we're not gonna, there's no script, there's no agenda, let's hang out and we're just gonna talk some cards. And we've had a lot of fun with it. We're about to come on pretty soon. We're Wild only. So technically, I think we're the longest running Wild podcast.
Yeah, you are currently the longest running Wild Hearthstone podcast on the information superhighway, my friend. Congratulations.
Thank you. We're also the one you've never heard. And underground one. And that's totally fun with us. And yeah, we kind of enjoy it that way. If you're in the know. Say,
your favorite podcaster's favorite podcast.
Right. I like that.
Hey, before we get too far ahead, I let me stop super quick just to say a giant thank you to our patrons. So Shokunin and Pug Ugly are the executive producers of our show, and just wanted to give them a huge shout out.
Yeah, they're like my gods, my idols.
And wait, we got a new patron this week also, so I'm gonna butcher the name, but Mezzi Crochet. Thank you so much, dude. It means a lot, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Messi. I think it's Mezzi Crochet. That's what I'm going for here.
I think so.
I hope that he'll correct us, I'm sure. Or he'll say, like, stop trying to pronounce my last name. That's basically what he told me when I was talking to him. He's like, don't even bother, bud. No one can do it.
Hey, we did it right. We did it right. He said we did it right.
Oh, thank goodness.
What up?
Nice.
Hey, and I see Hammy is in the background. What's up, Hammer Strength?
Yeah, for you podcast listeners, my cat's the man, and he is in the background.
All right. Hey, so I've been trying to keep track as people, our buddies here hit Legend for the first time. So our good friend Mike Lowe hit Wild Legend for the first time. It's super awesome over the past week. So congrats, Mike. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, and as well as I don't know the other guy's name as well. It's hard to pronounce. Jermoe Roux.
Yeah. Hey, if you haven't, Mike is an awesome dude. He sang with us on all of the Nerfs way back when. Well, you have to check it out. And the other guy, Jerome Roux, I believe, HS Biohazard, first time Wild Legend. So congrats, it's very awesome. We love seeing it. So
yeah, we already mentioned that Slizzle hit triple Legend for the first time. Triple Wild Legend, so you're welcome, Slizzle, for all of my advice. And EK, if you keep trying, you're gonna get there too, bud.
Ouch.
EK is going to kill me, but we're gonna have him on the podcast eventually. And I'm just if he agrees to it, which I don't know at this point. And I'm terrified about having him on because I know that sometimes I bother that guy.
Oh man, yeah, well,
he's a good dude.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite people in Hearthstone. He's been having some really bad luck lately. So, you know what, guys? Here's what we could do. Go ahead and tweet at EK Plays Cards and just say, Craig of Canada and Nate Wolf wish you good luck. Do that for me. That's at EK Plays Cards. Give him a follow and let him know that you're wishing him some good luck his way.
Yeah. And hey, you were talking earlier about doing it right. Hey, guess whose birthday it was? Oh,
that's right. It was Duwin's birthday. I love the tweet you put up.
Happy birthday, Duwin. We love you, dude. So I saw that and I thought, we got to give him a quick shout out. So
yeah, why not? But you know what? On more somber news, I need to bring this up, and it's sad for all of us. GulDaniel, I know you were a giant fan. Me and Nate love the guy. Rod Johnson and Trips have ended Tier 5, the Wild podcast that started as a standard podcast and then slowly transitioned into a Wild podcast. And Rod has been pretty upfront about how the game hasn't been making him happy lately. And Rod is one of the nicest people you'll ever meet, but you would never know watching him play Hearthstone lately because he's so angry. I don't blame him. Like, we all get angry, I think, playing this game sometimes, but like, I guess some of us just I don't know. Hearthstone's one of those things. I feel like sometimes I'm like an abused partner where it's like Hearthstone gives me something great every 4 months with a new expansion, and I go, yeah, like I love you so much, and then they just slap me around for the other parts of the year.
That's a pretty accurate description, but Rod's
trigger warning,
a really good friend, and but I think when the time is right, the time is right. I mean, we kind of did the same thing back in the day with Into the Wild, where stuff comes up, or honestly, like, this is a game, right? We play games for fun, and if you're not having fun, then it's good to take a break. So. Yeah,
and I just want to say, like, that podcast is going to be missed. It was one of the only podcasts that could evoke, like, so many different emotions out of me, where, like, me and Rod, we got along great, but we disagreed a lot, and we would argue, and we would call each other names, and it's mostly joking. Sometimes we'd get a little serious, and then we'd be like, hey, I'm sorry, and then, oh, it's okay, and it is going to be weird not having that podcast. That's one of the longer podcasts I've listened to. Like, I've been a fan of that one since back, you too, Nate, since Adam was on the.
Yeah.
We had both of them on Into the Wild back in the day. And we can remember when they started transitioning into Wild. And GulDan, I'm sure we should give you a chance to say something about them while you're here.
Yeah, honestly, like I don't think the Hearthstoners is still a thing if it wasn't for Rod and Trips and Tier 5. And I mean, they really took us under their wing when we got started, helped us with audio equipment, and that's just like on the podcast side. But just being friends and reaching out to us and talking to us, coming on our show, coming on their show. Trips and I mean, we banter back and forth about the Falcons and the NFL, and we give each other endless amounts of shit. And I love him to like, oh man, he's a great dude. But Rod, I mean, my relation, like Rod will always have a special place in my heart for being like one of the first guys I got to really know on the internet through Hearthstone. Like, I remember the first game I played against him, and it took half a second too long to kill him with a Gul'Dan or something, and he rage adds me, and he's flying off, and I'm like, yo, dude, chill. Like, I'm a friend. I like the pod. Like, you Rod Johnson. And, you know, from that point on, we started adding each other. Like,
Oh my god, that is such a Rod thing to do.
It was great, and like after that moment, chill, and then soon I reached out with him when he started the podcast. You know, Rod and I, we've like hung out in Discord calls, just chatted about like real life stuff, and like, you know, if I'm having a bad day or something, I feel like I could like reach out to him, and he's really been like Uncle Rod to it. There's the persona where he was like raging off like the face of the earth when Secret Mage is playing, but like that, yeah, he's like the guy's got a huge heart.
He does.
Yeah, no,
I just Trips does too. I just know Rod a little bit better.
Yeah, and I think if you haven't listened to Tier 5, or if you listen to any of Tier 5, and like you should, the last episode is really good. It just shows you how much emotion Rod has for the game. I'm hoping they fix some of the issues with the recording, because Astrals was like something went wrong with the syncing of the audio. Yeah, and it kind of the show was still great. It's just Astrals was interrupting them the whole time because of syncing audio. Like, I'm sure he wasn't actually interrupting them. So I'm hoping that gets fixed, because I would love to go back and listen to that episode whenever I really miss Tier 5. I don't know if anyone. I should talk to Rod about it anyway. And it's just such a good show, and it's going to be sad to see it gone. He was so great to everyone. So I'm gonna miss it, and I really hope he does something, even if it's not Hearthstone related. I would love to listen to him just talk about, like, they were joking about doing a South Park podcast on the last.
Oh god, that'd be so hilarious. That'd be so
absolutely funny. Like, Geekade was great with him and Saucy. I know we're spending a lot of time on this, but he was close. My biggest regret is not. I was scheduled to be on the show once, and I fell asleep. And yeah, and ever since then, we've had scheduling conflicts where they recorded too late, and I wake up too early for work and whatnot. So I never got a chance to be on Tier 5. It's one of my biggest regrets. So, Rod, if you ever relaunch the show, I expect an invite, which I will say yes to.
Yeah, a lot of ups and lots of downs. In the game and personal as well. And Rod, you've been an awesome friend. So we'll stay in touch. I mean, I'll shoot you a text and we can chat whenever, but
rest in peace, Rod.
Yep. RIP.
Just rest in peace, Tier 5, not Rod.
I'm sorry. Yes. Trips. I mean, Trips has been an awesome dude as well. I mean, I worked with him on logo design and stuff a long time ago, and he's an amazing player and stuff. And so I don't mean to breeze over him, but Trips, I'm a big fan as well.
Yeah, for this one's for you, Trips. I opened a can like he does on Tier 5. In case you didn't catch that.
Hey,
you go ahead, Nate.
Well, I was gonna say our sister show, Into the Wild, that we started way back when. I
never heard of it.
That's your favorite podcaster's other favorite podcast. Yeah, so they're on indefinite hiatus right now. It looks like we were on episode 100. I feel a little bit guilty.
Yeah, well, apparently we killed it by mistake. No, but what happened? Saucy confirmed. Like, we've known for a bit now, but we didn't want to kind of speak for them, you know. And Saucy came out this week and said that at least for now they're on a hiatus, and he said they might not come back. They might. Danny's been really frustrated with the game lately. I'm hoping that some of the news we're talking about this week, like I know that some of the news we're going to talk about this week has changed Danny's mindset a little bit.
Yeah.
But Saucy is doing so well with Legends of Runeterra right now that it doesn't make sense for him to be focusing on a game that he's not totally in love with. And he loves LOR. He's doing incredible stuff. So if you play any Legends of Runeterra, I strongly recommend listening to Rune Terrible Radio, which is a great name for a show, and check out his stream. It's the highest quality stream that you'll see online. I don't even like Legends of Runeterra, and I still stop by because I really like Saucy. So I would check it out. And at least the show is still like a possibility of a return, and I would love that because that show was our baby at one point, and now we have this one, and I hope one day that one starts back up again, or someone else comes in and fucking rocks another wild show. Because right now, everyone who does a wild podcast is in this fucking call.
Yeah, pretty much. But hey, well met's still happening, right? So that's good.
Yeah, well met's like a hybrid.
Yeah. Well, and I will say, I just have to second you real quick, saying that I think Saucy is a good friend. He's an amazing person. I'm very happy that, oh man, he's got arguably the best beard in Wild. This is up for debate, but it's one of the top 10 for sure. I'm very happy that he's having success with Runeterra, and I think it kind of goes back to the tier 5 thing that you should play the game if you're having fun, and if you stop having fun, then take a break, right?
Unfortunately, two of our favorite personalities in Hearthstone were both not having fun at the same time, which is upsetting. But there will be more awesome content creators in the future. So
yeah,
they will be missed.
All right, well, we'll pour one out for our buddies, and
I would, but my girlfriend would fucking kill me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's stop crying for a few minutes. And there is tons and tons of news. So, I mean, we've got decks to talk about too, but there's a lot of news this week. So, just to kind of jump right into it, Ixar announced earlier this week that they're planning their second batch of balance changes. So they said early next week, TM, which is probably, who knows, Tuesday maybe, I don't know, we'll see. But what now? And maybe before we get into what the actual changes are, it might not be a bad idea to talk about how they came about. And I don't have a copy of the tweet here, but essentially Ixar was he was like getting threats and stuff. He's like, "Hey, man,
but
stop."
I don't like to put it the way you're saying. Like, that's not why they happened. Like,
well, no. I agree. I think I agree. I think that he was saying, "Hey, we understand. We like hearing the feedback. We like we're trying to respond quickly, and we realize that if there's busted stuff, we need to fix it. But can you stop DMing me death threats? That would be really nice." And so,
I was not. I thought that was kind of gross. It's so fucked up because if these people, the excuse I keep hearing, and I do think it's an excuse, and it's from people I respect in the community too, are defending this fucking asshole who said to Ixar, like blah blah blah. Like it was on his wedding photo. He basically said, "You're a piece of shit. I can't remember the exact words, but it wasn't so vulgar, but it was very rude and it was kind of gross. And then you hear people saying like, yeah, but he's only doing it because he's so passionate for the game. And it's like, no, fuck you, man. That's not an excuse. That's not a reason to attack this. If you're passionate for the game, why do you want to hurt the people developing it? If anything, if I'm Ixar and I'm petty as fuck. If I'm Ixar and someone's tweeting all this garbage at me, here's me. I'm gonna like it and I'm gonna buff Quest Mage because the thing is, I'm in no hurry to make it better for you. And you guys doing that is drowning out the people like Slizzle and GulDaniel and Danny Donuts, the guys who are kind of like, there's ways to do it. Saying like Danny Donuts put out a tweet the other day saying like, I'm frustrated with Hearthstone to the point where I'm going to take a break until there's a change. For now, I'm quitting Hearthstone. I really hope there's change in the future. That's a tweet that the developers see and they go, oh, wow, this guy's been playing forever. And he's leaving because of this. He didn't insult them. He didn't say you guys are scum. He just said, this is me. This is my feelings and I'm out of here. And I think that's the way to do it because Ixar is giving us way more than a lot of developers give people in their games. And yeah, that just it baffled me. That it didn't baffle me that someone said that. It baffled me about the support that person was getting and the excuses that people were providing for him. So it bugged me out. Slizzle thing in the chat gave us the exact quote. It says, "The only thing you did was be the meme of everyone of how dumb you are. It's not powerful, not a win turn. Damn, you are trash. Even a half-brained monkey can see that this is not correct, but you are too dumb to see this. Cringy man-child." Keep in mind on his wedding photo.
Yeah, that's messed up. Yeah, I don't. 100% not the right way to go about it. And I like what Danny had done also is like, hey, I've got some suggestions. If you'd like to read them, reach out or I'd be happy to share them. And I think Sizzle has done it in the past as well, and I think Team One Trick as a whole, there are good ways to go about it. Hey, here's some constructive feedback without being a douchebag.
Yeah, and if you want to be like a slight douchebag, like you can be a little like passive aggressive, but don't call them names and stuff like that. Like what Danny did, Danny wasn't being polite. Like, hey guys, until you're done, I'm just gonna take a quick break. Like Danny was saying, like I'm upset, and this is why I'm doing it. Like he was stern, but he didn't attack. And I think that's the main thing is you don't need to attack. Like positivity almost always wins. Like show me a guy who's been like that disrespectful and gotten what they wanted. Like this guy got what he wanted, but it's not because of that, So anyway, I know that I'm going on and on. It's just, it really, really bugs me. And it's not just because XR retweeted my song, okay? It's
No, but we saw it. I mean, we saw something similar recently, like in the Wild Discords, where Slizzle was getting bullied, and it was ridiculous. It's just unacceptable.
Yeah, like it's kind of sad. The Wild community in general is a nice community, but then like there's so many outliers.
You have a couple baby ragers that kind of ruin it for everybody. And I think one of the things that really drew me into Wild in the first place was that the community was so welcoming. Like I'd play Standard and I'd get rage ads, and then I would play Wild and I would get friend requests being like, "Oh, that was rad. Can you send me the deck code? Oh, hey, I heard of your podcast." Like that's super cool. And so I mean, I don't know, like man up.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. It's just, I know it sounds stupid, but treat people the way you want to be treated. Like it's okay. Anyway, I think we're beating up a dead horse here, but I just want to make it clear, guys. Like if I see you tweeting at Ixlar, like, "Oh, you piece of shit, I hope you die," that kind of stuff, just don't expect to be invited into my circle anyway. And like I know that's not a big thing or anything, but I don't forget that stuff. It's a little too much. And if you have done that, like apologize to the guy or something, or at least stop doing that. So that's it. That's all I'm going in on that.
Not to beat that horse like any further than we already have, but I was actually, my roommate is Mr. Blunt. He plays a lot of Mech Paladin. He finished like rank 8 a couple months ago.
Nice.
But I was talking to him the other day. Mech Paladin gets a lot of hate. Seeker Mage gets a lot of hate. But if you start listing, "Oh man, fuck this deck, fuck that deck," imagine every single deck I hate. Like you end up with a list of like 13 decks. So it's like, what deck do you not hate? So if you start hating on the player that plays Seeker Mage, you start hating. And it kind of like opened my eyes a little bit, because I'm like, you know what? Think about that list, and then what is okay to play? Because
even if you're playing a meme deck, people are mad that they lost
then
to
you're
a
playing
meme
a
deck.
meme. Exactly. They're like, "Oh, you're playing bad cards in your deck." Bad cards because I put bad cards. I'm doing it to have fun. I'm playing Chef Nomi Warlock. Yeah, I can play Mechathune, but I want to play a bunch of Nomis for the same shit. I know I could have won the game 10 turns ago, but fuck it. Like, it's like people are playing the games for different reasons, and you have to try to find the fun in the game.
Yeah. Well, and if you use that argument, right, that's like nerf everything, then at some point it's like, at what point do we all have a bunch of 1/1s for one? And like, I mean, I understandably, Wild is the place that you go to have crazy powerful decks. And it is got to be a really difficult job from a developer point of view to like, how do you balance a bunch of like degenerate decks, like delicately? I mean, I don't really know what the answer is to that, and so Ixar and the team there, like I don't envy them at all, because that's a tough thing. But you're right. I mean, there's always going to be a most hated deck, and it all rotates. But you know, the balance of power is so delicate. So
if you look back just like a year ago, we look at all these mage decks that are at the top of Wild right now. But mage was in the dumpster not too long. Secret Mage was kind of a fringe deck that came about because all the standard players switched into Wild, and they were like, okay, this deck is cheap, it's fast, it's aggressive, and then people adopted it. Reno Mage wasn't a thing before Time Warp took over, and the other Mana Giant. Quest Mage was actually a tier 3 deck. But I think Wild is just going to be broken by nature because we have a 30-card deck. So we're going to play the best 30 cards that's going to happen. Until Blizzard releases a format that says, hey, you have 60 cards in your deck. You can only still play duplicates or maybe 3 ofs. And then that is when we can have this truly open format. Like, I mean, my roommates play a lot of Magic. Magic's compared to Hearthstone all the time. They love this Commander format, which is whatever. It's 100 cards.
100 cards, yeah.
Right. But we, as a Hearthstone, only have 30 cards. So, of course, you know, you don't have room to have, like, suboptimal cards a lot. We were joking.
And every card in your deck you're eventually going to get to play because you know, you get a mana crystal every turn. Anyway,
wait, yeah, that reminds me. Hey, can we give a shout out to Big Debo?
Oh yeah, Big Debo is my black friend. I know that sounds terrible, but like the way we met is that he did a podcast called My Black Friend. So I promise that's why I said that. I love him so much.
That's the most acceptable way.
That's like the only way you're allowed to say that, right? Like he's hilarious. He's Big Debo. When we first met him, we thought his name was he always went by Big Debo ATL, so we thought his name was Big Debo L. But he's hilarious. He loves Hearthstone, but he basically Raw Johnsoned about 2 years ago, where he got so furious about I think it was cards rotating out of standard, really made him mad, and he quit the game. He came back, and literally in a month now, 2 weeks now, he's climbed all the way to rank 9 platinum, I believe, which I'm impressed. All I did is I said, you got 4,000 dusts? He goes, I can make it happen. I said, cool, and I sent him a secret mage list, and he's been having the time of his life.
Yeah.
That's the way to get someone into it.
Well, and that's what we always say. You know, people ask us, "Hey, I want to dip my toes in Wild. What should I play?" Hey, play Secret Mage. It's relatively straightforward to play. It's very low from a dust perspective. Like, why not? I mean,
yeah, it plays one legendary and one epic, right? Everything else is commons or rares or basic cards. So, anyway, just big shout out to you, Big Debo.
Let's get into some of this other stuff. So,
we still haven't talked about the nerfs at all, Nate.
Yeah, let's do it. So, they haven't announced what the nerfs are, but
can we guess?
Well, they announced the targeted cards, so it's.
No, I'm saying, can we guess the nerf?
Yeah, of course.
Nice.
Okay, so for Wild, the 2 that they announced, Open the Waygate and Blood Bloom, because they're targeting Darkest Hour. And then for Standard, Sack Pact, Bad Luck Albatross, Frenzied Fellwing, and Keltha Sunstrider are what's...
Well, and I would argue these are all for Wild as well, right? You know what I mean? Like,
yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Every card here sees play in Wild, without exception. So I think we should... First of all, let's just talk about how great it is that we are seeing another nerf in specifically Wild, like you said. It's about time. I know it feels like it's been a little too long, but the fact that they're doing it kind of gives me hope, a new hope, like Star Wars. So what do you guys think about this?
I am excited. I mean, this is like, all joking aside, 2 changes for Wild, 4 card changes standard. I mean, I'm excited all around. The Quest Mage nerf is like the real kicker here, but...
Oh, I love Blood Bloom too, though, so much.
I like Blood Bloom, and the best part about it is I really don't think this is going to affect my thing whatsoever. It's only going to affect Darkest Hour, which I've seen, depending on who you talk to, I've seen some suggestions that you make it like a spell that costs 5 or less health, or you just bump up the mana cost. I hope they just bump up the mana cost.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that 5 or less thing. I saw that, and while it is probably the like the most obvious way to do it to not hurt or to block out Darkest Hour. It's just not like it's not clean.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like why 5? Like, how does that make sense with the flavor of the game and all that? Like, I feel like I think it is just going to get bumped up to like maybe 4. Like 4 is probably the safest number you could do.
That's what I'm thinking, because it's a wild exclusive nerf, being Darkest Hour and Mechathune, and I'm 97% sure Blizzard knows about the Dawnmaster combo that the Raw Design, shameless plug, put together. And so I don't think they're going to nerf it to 3 mana. That doesn't seem like enough for Darkest Hour, still being able to turn 5 or 6. So 4 mana seems enough.
4 mana seems safe, and like maybe some people who really love the deck will still attempt it.
Personally, I have a significant financial investment in Darkest Hour, so I personally need this to not be nuked to hell.
Yeah, that's true. Darkest Hour is probably the most expensive deck in Wild when it comes to all the legendaries you're running. But yeah, so Blood Bloom, me and GulDaniel think it's going to cost 4. Nate, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that makes sense. And if you're, I mean, it's still playable. I think my only request is like, don't nuke stuff to the point of unplayability. Mm-hmm. You know, make it harder to pull off, but like, don't entirely destroy it.
Open the Way Gate is going to see a nerf finally, and my theory is it's going to still cost 1 mana, and I think you're going to need to cast 8 spells that didn't start in your deck. That's my guess. Maybe 10 spells. I really hope they don't change the price of Time Warp, because I personally still like the the Vargoth combo. I think if you have to cast 10 spells to get there, that it seems pretty fair that you should be able to do something bonkers at the end of the game. So my guess is it's going to be 1 mana, cast 10 spells that didn't start in your opening deck. That's my theory. Everything else will be the same. What do you think?
Okay,
yeah,
Daniel. How about this? You brought up the Vargoth combo, and that's one thing I've been thinking about. I think you bump up the quest reward to 8 mana, actually, because of the Vargoth quest interaction. It would require an Emperor tick on both Vargoth and quest to be played together. The one thing about leaving the mana cost of the quest at 5 is you can still do these nasty, dumb turns, and I think just bumping up the requirement of the quest isn't enough because of the amount of cheap spells they're printing in Mage. And if you just do that, further down the line, this card is just going to be an issue again. So honestly, my suggestion would be to nuke it all the way to 10 mana to take another turn, because you have so many 0 mana. Make it fringe quest, because all the quests are actually very fringe from Unguro, and make it so you can only play it with giants or some sort of cost reduction.
Yeah,
that's fair.
That's interesting. I mean, right, I think that once they printed Evocation between Sorcerer's Apprentice and Evocation, like, I mean, you can fill your whole hand with 0 cost cards. I saw someone completed quest on turn 3 the other day, which is like...
Oh, that happens a lot.
Turn 3, 4, 5, and it's not about them completing the quest. They generally just complete it and sit there for...
Right.
That's going to happen. It's about them actually cheating out the quest early enough to sometimes just kill you with the Flame Wakers and 1 giant, or sometimes, you know, they're slamming 3, 4 giants, and you're just like, I swear I thought it was good because they have 10 cards in their deck. You know, Book of Specters plucked them, the little lady that pulls a spell, which plucked them the Book of Specters, which, you know, same thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the big offenders, right, and increasing the mana cost would help, is the Time Warp Vargoth combo where you're taking 3 turns in a row, which is a little bit just crazy. I mean, when they talk about nerfs, they talk about things that are not interactive, like it's one-sided, right? Like for the opponent to sit here, okay, my opponent gets to do 3 turns in a row now, and I can do nothing. Like,
yeah, I think you guys talked me out of the 10 spell thing, especially the chat's like going crazy about it. 10 spells does seem a little, especially with evocation. I think without evocation, it might have been I almost wish though that maybe they would just make it really hard to complete. Like make it 15.
Funny, you know,
Make it real tough.
because taking an extra turn is nutty in a game with the only class with any counterplay is Mage or Valyra the Hollow. So
yeah. Well, and so, you know, what should it be? 5 mana, your charge minions have +1 attack.
That's not bad. Yeah, I like that. That's really good.
You know, I mean, people are mentioning in chat about not being able to go face the next turn, which I don't know how you tweak the card to do that, though.
I think that's really bad. I think that's just bad design. Like, you'd have to recode so much for that to work, and I don't like it. Like, I understand they're like, let's just make sure you can never win with open the way gate. Like, I get it, but I don't think that's the way. Like, maybe there's some way to make it so like your minions can't attack. Period. Like take an extra turn, your minions can't attack next turn, so that like it leaves the Antonidas combo and stuff open. But I don't think that's I don't think that's the way to do it. I think you just need to raise numbers here. I don't know which numbers, but you do need to raise numbers here. So either way, guys, I'm pretty sure next week we're going to be talking about how open the way gate's still okay and not good, not as good.
Where, you know, I think no matter, this is where I don't envy the devs again, right? Is that like no matter what change they make to it, this is almost impossible to do, quote unquote, perfectly. Like, this is a hard one. So I don't know. I mean, like we both just hit legend with this deck. And so I still, you know, I mean, it's degenerate. Yes, it is. Okay. But like, I did the same thing. I took this up to rank 1 and then played Memnarg Sereno Priest from 1 to legend. And it's like, I mean, this deck is just bonkers. And so that's why I played it. I mean,
it is a fun deck, I find. It's just, it's lost its fun because of how long it's been around.
Yeah.
There is something that someone in the chat just brought up that made me think about it. Is like, let's just give it the Temporis treatment. So when you finish completing the quest, the time warp says your opponent takes an extra turn and then you take 2 turns. Make it fair.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah, but we'll quickly go over the other one. Sack Pack is going to be nerfed, and I'm hoping that. I'm hoping that it stays the exact same, but it only targets friendly minions. I think that's a pretty fair thing.
Did you see this? Sack tap, smack a demon hunter right in the balls.
That's funny.
Oh god, I think it's. I think all they need to do, like, really, either make it cost 1 mana or just rotate it to the Hall of Fame.
I don't think rotating it's good enough. I don't think it's healthy for a while either. Like Demon Hunter is never gonna really get too, like, you'll never be able to make a big demon. It's not fun when you get sack packed. It isn't fun. And the other thing is that costing 1 isn't good enough. Like, 1 mana destroy anything that's a demon is still too good. Draxus never gets to see play again ever as long as this exists.
Well,
and
having it actually work on Jiraxis, the
flavor's there, but it's just
Jiraxis needs so many reworks.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, I mean, GulDaniel, you're the Warlock expert. What is your hot take on this card?
I think Craig actually nailed it. 0 friendly demon, because that was the original flavor of the card.
Oh yeah, friendly. Yeah.
Do you remember the first time that you drew Sack Pack and remembered you could use it on your opponent?
No, because I was a Jiraxis and they were gonna do it to me. But Jiraxis was my welcome bundle legendary. So actually, like, I never had a choice what else Warlock showed. So,
can we go back to the nerfed cards, Nate, on the stream?
Yeah.
But I mean, Sack Pack's good. It's still decent. It's gonna be an option for Warlock, but I think that's the most elegant nerf. Keeps it in the flavor of the card.
And then Zephyrus isn't like, Zephyrus can't just kill any demon for free.
For 0, you know? Yeah.
And it is the way it's supposed to be. It's not called kill a demon. It's called sacrificial pact. Like, the flavor says it should be your own people, right? Like, that's what demons do. They sack each other. Anyway, Bad Luck Albatross is a 3/4, a 3 mana 4/3. My prediction is it's going to go down to like a 3 mana 3/3 or a 3 mana 2/3, something like that. I think it's going to be stay the same mana cost, and I think it's going to basically not have an aggressive body so that you can't just slide it into any odd deck.
Yeah, I agree.
aggro
I mean,
deck.
I think all you have to do is tweak the attack. As long as you make it a 2/3 or a 3/3, it's probably fine. I mean, we need the effect still to mess with all the Highlander decks. So
Yeah, I don't see them. I don't see them making it more because then there's no way we could ever play it.
So do you guys see a common theme here? Like all these cards, with the exception of the Albatross. Like we've talked about this so many times, but anytime that you reduce the mana cost of something down to 0, people will find a way to break it. And so,
yeah, you're right.
Like Sack Pact, Fellwing, Kelthus, Bloodbloom.
Yeah, Open the Waygate's the one exception.
At least there's a 5-mana. Open the Waygates is at least cheap. You get an additional 5 the next turn.
Yeah. But with the Time Warp, you play all the giants for free. So
well, I just think an extra turn is another problem. You know,
well,
I think we can have 2 problems.
Yeah.
Extra turns and 0 mana.
So what about Fellwing? I mean, what do you? I
think that's more of a standard nerf.
Oh no, I agree. I mean,
like we play it in Wild, but it's not egregious.
Well, it's a corridor creeper. I mean,
I like it. I really love the card.
Yeah, I do too. I don't know how do you change it? You make it cost 5 or something? I don't know.
Yeah, I think they either up the original cost or they make it so it can't be reduced below 1. But I think you're going to see a higher cost of Fellwing.
Yeah. I like 5. I like 5.
And then for Carl. Carl Sunstrider.
My take is that and I've heard a lot of people echo this sentiment, is that it'll just say the 3rd spell of your turn costs 0. I think that's the cleanest change.
Yeah,
is just make it so that you get to do it once per turn. You get to do it, or maybe make it a battle cry so that you can't like cheat it out or something. Like battle cry this turn your 3rd spell costs 0. I don't know, but all I know is that I don't think you should be able to cycle through your whole deck with this. You know what I mean? What do you think, GulDaniel?
I agree with you. The first one you said is it's going to be. I hope it's not a battle cry because this is keep Mechathune Warlock still working. You you play Solarium, then you play Dawnmaster Dorian. Plot twist will cycle through your Kelthas and your Mechathune, and then your Cataclysm will be free, so you don't have to worry about the Blood Bloom.
That's very cool.
Yeah, the Dawnmaster combo is so much fun. It's pretty nutty, but I think it was like you're referencing the put out that said that's what it was before this broken iteration, right before it came out. So I think that's the most likely one. They want it to be good. It's kind of the Vargoth of the set, so I think it's still going to be pretty good. I think Druid's going to stop playing it.
Probably.
I don't think they need to. They're not going to want to try to go all in for just one turn.
Yeah, I mean, playing a UI for free is okay once a turn, but playing a UI for free twice is a little rough.
Right.
In the same turn.
Or just cycling Jades at the end of the game. It's really powerful. And in Standard, it's actually incredibly powerful too. In Demon Hunter and in Druid, they're just going nuts. So I do think it's just like, I'm worried that they're going to go a little too far with it, and I hope they don't. I hope that it's just that.
Right.
I mean, that seems like that seems like the perfect fix, honestly. I mean, I don't want it to be unplayable. I mean, the stats are still ridiculous. It's not super easy to remove.
Yeah. And whenever my opponent comes down with it and only does the first 3, I go, uh-oh, and then I go, oh, okay, it's just 3. And like it's still not a great place for you, you know, you're still behind, but at least they didn't go off. And like if you go off
pseudo taunt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things that it reminds me of Emperor Thorson, right? Where it's like it's pseudo taunt. I mean, you can't, if you leave it there, bad things happen. So,
what do you guys think about this? Do you think that we're gonna be a little? Do you think Raza is gonna be a little crazy after these nerfs?
Yeah,
I mean, it potentially leaves a couple of decks in really good spots.
Raza, I think it leaves one deck.
Raza Priest. I think the Q block will still be really good.
Yeah,
I think the Albatross Q block is going to be quietly one of the better decks,
depending on what they do with Albatross.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's going to be.
It's just shuffling the garbage into your opponent's deck. Yeah.
A health nerf, but I hope it's just an attack nerf because the attack doesn't matter. It's nice, but the Alba Trash Warlock that creeped around and the one we're going to talk about later really just cares about getting birds on birds on birds on birds.
Yeah.
So this is cool anyway. It's nice to see all these. Like this should actually shake up our format a lot, right?
Yeah, it really should. Well, it was kind of cool. So they did this AMA on Reddit earlier in the week, and that's where I think all this stuff first came up, right? People, at least from the wild perspective, were saying, "Hey, are you going to do anything wild? Are you going to do anything wild?" And this was the big change for us, were particularly Bloodbloom and Open the Waygate. But the other cards affect us all as well. I mean, really, they see play in wild as well as standard. So,
and I think the biggest news here is that they're going to be making some adjustments in Arena.
Yeah. So wait, explain to me what Arena is again.
It's a way to play Magic: The Gathering on your computer. All right.
Oh god.
Well, we can probably move on from here for them. Like they kind of explain why they're doing the nerfs, and we also just did that. So
yeah. Okay. So
I would want to point out that they did say that Kel'Thas is a super interesting card. Kill off his combo potentially entirely. So I think that hints that they're to what Craig said, I believe, just the third spell.
Yeah. Well,
Nice.
And as far as lore goes, right? I mean, they said that in the past they had taken, when Hearthstone first started, they were pulling characters from Warcraft lore, and then they took a break from doing that and created their own characters who were unique to Hearthstone. And then they wanted to take a break from that again and go back to WoW lore. And so they did that big time with the Demon Hunter, and they pulled Kel'Thas, and I really didn't play WoW, but apparently is a big character. I don't know. I mean, God, isn't that terrible? I don't know. Someone will correct us.
It's interesting for sure. I love all the, but I mean, I watched the WoW. I thought that part. I was a bad guy in it though.
All right. Okay. So we have a couple of the clips from the AMA earlier this week to kind of look at. One of them was talking about a new game mode. They had hinted at this new game mode. What? And so I'm like, Craig's excited. What I really like about this is, maybe this reminds me of Magic in some regards. I mean, they haven't hinted at it too much aside from saying that you'll want to keep your wild cards for this new game mode, and so perhaps
I just dusted all mine.
You dirty duster. Maybe wild as it currently exists will be like a legacy format, and then this new format is somewhere in between, and then standard is like, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I'll give my theory first. I have two. My first theory is a rotating format where, similar to the Arena, like I guess maybe not everyone knows that, but in the Arena they swap out different sets to be playable. So I think that'd be cool if it's like this month it's goblins versus gnomes and Naxxramas and a couple standard sets and blah blah blah. Maybe classic is always available, I don't know, but that's one option. But then I think the more likely option, in my opinion, is something similar to Commander in Magic: The Gathering, where I think it's going to be like singleton decks, and maybe there'll be a ban list. Like maybe you won't be able to play Zephyrus and those kind of cards like that. So I'm kind of hoping for either one of them. Like I would love a turn, like a singleton format where you could play any single card, but it has to be one of each. Or I would like that. It could be a pauper format too. Like that's always a possibility. Like commons and uncommons. Like I don't think that's much of a money move for them though. So maybe not. Either way, I'm excited for it. So those are my couple predictions. What about you guys?
I would love to see like a 60 card deck. That would be fun.
Yeah. That would be cool.
I think I'm in agreement there. I loved the second. Said like the Magic people have been in my listen. Got too many golden cards to switch. I got too much money in Hearthstone, but like, I I think the first idea, it feels just a little too much like Arena. It's the easy way out. I could see them doing it. It seems like the most logical one that they'll do. I hope it's not the one because personally, I'm just going to stick to Wild. It's whatever.
I'd probably try out both if that was the case. They did also mention that like you'll be incentivized. I forget where they said it, but they said you'd be incentivized to use wild cards in this format. So maybe that is like everything to me points to Singleton. I really hope it's Singleton, and if it is Singleton, I really hope they ban the Singleton cards as well. I don't think we need Reno.
You know what I could see them doing though? Remember earlier? It was earlier in the year, I guess, when they temporarily rotated some of the wild cards back into standard for a couple months. Like I could see them doing that just on an ongoing basis and saying, "Hey, this month it's standard plus these 20 cards, and next month it's going to be standard plus these different 20 cards." So it's like a constant shakeup.
I personally doubt it only because it seems too small. Like it doesn't seem like enough. And I feel like the fear there is that standard will just get ignored if you do that, if it's just slightly better in the other mode. But either way, whatever it is, the more modes, the better. Like we joke about Arena all the time, but at least if you ever want to, for some reason, you can go click that Arena button. I have 1,000, like over 1,000 wins in Arena just from when I'm bored, right? So
yeah, I have like 100 wins.
Wait, what? Holy snap! I have 2.
I have like 11. I think I have. I'll pull up Hearthstone to let you guys know, but I'm nearly certain I'm at 1,062 wins or something like that.
I'm at like 100.
And keep in mind, I'm not the best Arena player. I average like 4 or 5 wins, so I've probably played like close to 2,000 Arena games, like probably 15, 16, 1,700 Arena games. So, I love limited, so I would love it if one day Hearthstone made a sort of limited format that wasn't Arena. But either way, this is exciting, and as Wild players, we know the appeal of having a second mode because at one point we were all standard players, right? No one really starts the game as a Wild player. So.
Well, that's what we used to say, right? I was playing Wild since before it was called Wild. So.
Yeah. Exactly. So I don't know. I'm excited.
One of the things that someone had asked them is like, hey, is there a better way to craft golden cards? And they had sort of hinted at having a system where instead of crafting a gold card, you could quote unquote like upgrade your card to a golden card, which would be super cool. I mean, I kind of like having both from a collection point of view, but like, I mean, if there would be a cheaper way, or honestly, like if we could buy all gold packs in the store and it just costs more,
like a lot more though, that would be the problem.
Yeah, I mean,
they would charge
you know what though? If you can't get duplicates, it's probably worth it.
Yeah. I like the upgrade though. The fact that like maybe like even if it's the same price now, it would cost you a lot less, right? Like, if they just charge you half for the gold card, but you lost your regular card, there's almost no downside to do that. Like you're gonna get more players. Like right now, you've never seen me craft a gold. I always say I might, and I never do. So Leroy was my closest craft, and I didn't. So I think that'd be a good idea, and upgrade a card, anything to make the game a little cheaper for us, I'm okay with. Even though it'll probably make it more expensive for a lot of us because we'll start upgrading.
What do you mean more expensive? This will make my significantly cheaper.
But I mean, like me right now.
Well, right, no, yeah. Right.
I'm talking about I don't make gold cards, but if this happens, I might start making gold cards, because it feels less like a waste. And by the way, just an update, I'm at 1,139 Arena wins.
Wow.
Ooh.
But I'm only at 6,400 ranked wins, or total wins. So
gotta get that. You gotta get that golden coin, right?
It's all about the golden coin. It asserts a level of dominance early in. That's like your opponent can really never truly recover.
We were joking about it, right? So on this new laddering system, it doesn't show your rank until you hit legend, and then it shows your rank, and then I started playing meme decks, and now I'm sitting in dumpster legend playing rank 9 players, and it's like, Oh my god! I had to assert dominance and put my legend card back on.
I forgot to do that.
It's so terrible. Like, I don't have nearly enough gold cards, so
it's a bad addiction. I don't recommend it to anyone unless you're gonna go hard into it. Like when Rotted Zombie and now Shia Wasina is starting to get into it a little bit. I'm like, hey, it starts out nice. You're like, oh man, but it's a drug. It's like the most addicting thing. It's like heroin, golden cards, and then meth. Not that I've tried the other ones, but like it's close.
I'm
not trying to be a rat, but Nate just started an arena run.
I'm trying to look at. I was trying to look at my number of wins here, and
just open your quest bar.
How do
your quest bar will tell you.
Will it do it on mobile?
Yeah, your quest bar will say it'll have your arena wins on the top right.
That's what I was looking for. 178.
Nice. Cool.
That's
so
terrible.
yeah, I think this would be a cool change. What's our next piece of news here? Oh, Nate's showing us. It's blurry. Nate, do some quests. You have 3. Come on.
Okay, so people are asking about collection manager upgrade. They essentially said, no.
No, they didn't say that.
Well,
they said in the future.
Yeah. I don't think that the UI is bad at all. I like it.
Oh, but no, mobile. I totally disagree.
Yeah, no, mobile. I don't play very much on mobile. I still think it's pretty clean.
No, on mobile.
On tablet. Like the tablet trying to search something is like it takes like 40 clicks to actually get.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
I will fight you guys till death on this. Mobile, like suppose I'm looking at rank 5 or 5 costs minions on mobile, and I have 5 highlighted, and then I pick all my 5 cost minions, and I want to move over to 6. I can't just click the arrow over. It'll bring me all the way back to the beginning of the collection. I have to highlight 6 now. Like there's so many awful things with the mobile client. Specifically with the collection manager, I can't tell you how many times my collection freezes and my decks like will turn to 0, and it's so buggy. I think it used to be good, I find, and then something happened where it slowly just got worse at least on Android. That's what I'm on, and I have a terrible taste in my mouth about the mobile collection. Like I don't play Hearthstone on my computer almost ever, maybe once a week. But I will specifically come to my computer to build decks because it's so bad on my phone. Sorry, I had to rant.
You do have a good point there, actually, because when I do to just go to play mode a lot, there's sometimes, or I would say more often than not more often than not, like 40% of the time, like there are 2 or 3 cards just randomly missing from the deck, and I have to go into my collection, click through, maybe add a card back or so, and then go back. And I'm on Android too, and it's just an issue. But then, like, I know people on iOS have the same issue. It seems like Hearthstone is meant to be a mobile game and everything, but as they've gone and added, 4 years worth of stuff, it's just
yeah.
Exactly. I don't know the coding behind it, but I've heard people that have said like Hearthstone just needs to build an app ground up again.
I know everything about coding. Just kidding. I know nothing. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I think I have to defer to you guys because when I play on mobile, it's like in bed before I go to sleep, or it's Tavern Brawl or something where the stakes are super low. I mean, I typically will play on the computer. So, I don't know. But
I got Legend without touching my computer.
Attaboy.
You're just like casually playing on the break. You're like, oh man, I just stumble into Legend.
I see people post it all the time. I accidentally hit Legend. I'm like, no, you didn't.
Screw you. You just got Swizzle. Like, I accidentally hit it 3 times.
I hit it on purpose, okay?
Oh, man. That's so funny.
Again,
with the new rank system, some people probably do accidentally.
Yeah, no, that's true. Especially, I think the folks who get the
11 stars.
Yeah, the 11 stars, the win streak bonus. Not going to happen for us.
No,
I don't know about you, but not
do rank
me.
2000 Legend players get 11 stars?
Not that I know of.
You know what? My legend rank's going to be so bad, I'm probably only going to get like 8 stars. No, I'm going to try to climb. So at the end of the month, Nate, remind me to let the listeners know what I'm at, because I truly will put an effort into climb, and then you guys can all make fun of me when I'm at like 1,800 wild legends. Currently, I'm at 2,069, but I have been memeing. Does 2,069 count as 69?
Yes.
Just 2,000 times.
Well, we saw Solemn posted earlier that he got rank 1 legend and he just had all the numbers scratched out except the 1. It counts.
Yeah. Well, he's funny, man. Okay, so
and then the other thing, they had talked about old card backs, like how they re-released the Ragnaros card back. Because people ask all the time, right? Hey, I started playing late. Can I collect some of the card backs that I missed? And typically the answer is maybe. For years it's been maybe. So
balance changes are out. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, breaking news.
Old Mo Dave. I just watched in chat. Thank you for saying something. Wait, let me look.
Old emo Dave. Yeah, no, what are they?
Let's get these out. They're right here in chat.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for your patience, podcast listeners, because
I thought this was going to happen. News. Let's go. But this also means I didn't get it.
Yeah, no one had a chance to think about this whatsoever.
Okay.
Wait, what?
Okay, no, I have them here. Oops, sorry.
Are you able to put it on the overlay somehow or no?
Yeah, hold on. I can do it.
Oh.
I have the magic.
So, guys, while Nate's doing that, we're really excited now because you're hearing this tomorrow. So by now you heard this has been 24 hours, but we're about to pull this up.
You know what? They changed so much stuff that I'm just gonna hold on. Let me just add a.
Okay, well then Nate, just silently find it all. Talking instead of telling everyone, because our podcast listeners are gonna rip out their headphones soon. Oh, this is exciting.
I'm on board with like half of these, but then half of them I want. The time warp one makes me want to.
So Cal,
all right.
Should we just?
It's just taking over the whole screen, so you guys can just deal with it for a second. But here we go. So starting out with neutral, Kel'Thas Sunstrider. It used to cost 6 mana, now it costs 7.
That's okay. It seems a little.
They didn't change the. Okay, interesting. Bad Luck Albatross used to cost 3, now it costs 4.
How do you guys feel about that one?
I think that's a bad nerf.
I don't like it either.
Really like it so much. Frenzied Fellwing used to be 3/3, now it is a 3/2.
That seems okay, right? Like I don't know. It's still 3 is harder to deal with than 2, but that still might see play in really aggressive decks. What do you think?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I mean, it doesn't. I don't think it really changes much. It just makes it easier to kill. For Demon Hunter, Altreus the Outcast used to be a 3 mana 3/2. Now it's a cost 4 mana 4/2.
That seems like a good nerf.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Battlefiend was a 2/2. Now it's a 1/2.
See, I wonder if that card will still see play now. I don't think so. You think so? Like it's a
because we haven't still. It still gets a buff every time you. It was just busted before as a 1.
But I'm wondering, like we have a neutral 2/2. Is that better or is it not?
I mean, because you can attack so easily.
It's more of a threat and more of a target. People have to be scared.
I guess it does snowball, so it'll probably still see play, but it won't be as good.
Right.
Cool.
I think it's a good nerf though.
Glavebound Adept was a 7/4. Now it is a 6/4.
That just seems whatever. Like that card's still really good. That's the one that deals 4 damage when you attack.
Yep.
Hey, so you guys called it. Sack Pact used to be destroy a demon. Now it is destroy a friendly demon.
Perfect. I think I love that.
Oh my god, you were right. Also, Blood Bloom used to cost 2. Now it costs 4.
I am Ostradamus.
So which means DH is bad and Mechithun switches to the kill.
Oh, Time Warp doesn't seem like it's gonna be that fixed.
Do we even need to talk about the Libram of Justice? Because We don't play it.
No, let's get to the main event.
All right, open the Waygate. Old. Cast 6 spells that didn't start in your deck. Now cast 8 spells. Yeah, okay, that's still easy. With evocation, that's a piece of cake.
No, you know what, guys? I know we're mad, a little mad. I know you guys sound a little mad, but here's the thing: we don't know. We need to wait to see because none of us have been. I don't think anyone's really been keeping track. How long does it take to do it in 8 mana, and what does this open up? Does it give the aggro decks enough time to make it so that Open the Waygate isn't really a playable deck? I think we should wait, and if we're still furious in a week and a half from now, then maybe next week. It does seem a little low, but maybe sometimes we don't know, right? I'm trying to think. There's a few nerfs that have come in the past that we've thought might not be enough, and it turns out they were enough. So maybe maybe this one will be too. And I think you can't think about, how's this deck gonna do against it. You can't think about how is Raza Priest gonna do against it, because Raza Priest is probably still gonna lose against it. But you know what I mean? But like now Jade Druid might be able to armor out of it fast enough, and Warlock aggro decks might be able to take them down fast enough. So I do want to see how fast this is, and maybe enough people will disenchant that it won't be ruling the whole meta anymore.
Yeah. I mean,
that's a really good point.
I guess
go ahead, Nate.
It's very easy to react with like, oh, that doesn't do enough. But like, I mean, you're right. I think the more rational side of me is like, okay, well, you're right. I mean, we have to test it. I do think that with evocation, it's still very, very easy to pull off.
I don't agree with that. I don't think evocation always you're not always casting 6 spells off evocation, right?
No, that's true. That's true.
And you're not always drawing evocation. Well, you kind of are because of Magic Trick. Maybe I think that we're still going to see some change. We might still see a change to this card, but I'm hoping that I don't mind if it's a tier 2 deck, right? Like, would you guys?
I would prefer just because I still feel like this is going to be a problem. If I do think my first gut reaction was like, this change sucks ass, but you kind of like talked me down off the ledge real quick. But it might slow it down for a turn, which might give the aggro decks enough time. But it doesn't affect Dragon Reno Quest Mage, any of that deck. But this is going to be a problem down the line.
Oh, I agree.
Spells, just one more cheap spell, 1 mana spell, 0 mana spell.
What do you think about? Do you think people are going to start running Banana Buffoon again?
Well, some people still are.
I mean, I think it was Jonah switched to that version. I didn't like it personally, but if you got to play 8, then maybe you do.
I think Slizzle hit legend with that version, with the Banana Buffoon in it. I think I'm excited to see how it goes. I have to imagine that they tested this quite a bit, because like this, and I'm sure they're expecting a bad reaction from this. But I do think 8 is a lot more than you guys are giving it credit for, and I think Barnes is a good example that someone brought up in the chat. Bards to 5, everyone thought was not really going to matter, but now it's pretty much a mistake to play Barnes in your big priest decks, right? And like,
yeah.
So.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
I would argue it was already started.
Yeah, kinda. I don't know about that. I don't think it was a mistake to play it before the nerfs.
Biggest big priest guy, but I think Var kind of made it's kind of just rough to play.
Either way, we'll see next week. I'm leaning towards positivity here. Seems like you guys are leaning a little, not enough.
I
won't be surprised.
I'm kind of done with the deck because like we just basically hit legend with it, and I'm already at 1,000 wins with it, so I'm gonna try to play some other stuff.
But I will say that earlier in the show, not to call you guys hypocrites, but you said you don't want cards nerfed out of playability.
No, I agree. I agree. And I mean, I think
that was my exception.
The other thing that I was saying as well is that it's a very difficult position for the devs where like no matter what they do with that card, people are not going to be happy. Like it's almost impossible to get a perfect solution. And so I mean, I'm cautiously optimistic. Like I think that decreases the power level slightly, but the power level is still high. It's just, I mean, that deck already struggled against aggro with the increase in Demon Hunter. Like, I don't know. I think it'll be okay. And worst case scenario, if it's still busted, then they can change it, right? I mean,
that's what I'm really hoping for, is that they keep an eye on the fucking Quest, because if this doesn't change enough, then I hope that they're out here in like next week saying, okay, guys, we're gonna up it to 10 now. You know, like, they need to stay on top of this, because if this doesn't change enough, if this is still the top tier deck, like the deck in the meta like it is now, then we're gonna have a problem, because this is gonna be everyone saying, not only did you guys not do enough, but you're ignoring it again. That is going to be a problem, especially with Ixar's tweet saying that this is the last time they plan on making changes for a while. I hope that this could be an exception if it doesn't go the way that they envision it. So,
yeah, no, I mean, I know, and I think that especially chat right now, everyone is very skeptical, and I appreciate that, and I tend to agree that the deck is still going to be very strong and that this won't change it all that much. But I think, let's check back in next week and see how we're all feeling. And maybe it's good. Maybe it's still bad. I don't know.
I mean, I think it's important to know, like, admit it and not to swing this back around to something we talked about earlier, but like, the devs are listening to us. The devs are paying attention to WoW more than they ever have before, and I think we take that for granted. And I was talking to Nate about this right before you hopped on, Craig, but I think people are taking this window of opportunity and abusing it to a point where, in reality, like, maybe it's the vocal minority, maybe we positive majority, because they are doing the changes we kind of asked for. Really, they are listening to us, and yes, they are a little slower to change it, but I think it's because they really need to gain the internal data, and they don't have it because there isn't player base in Wild, and they don't want to rush and make changes. They don't want to make this game, Legends of Runeterra, not to shit on them, Legends of Runeterra is doing their own thing, but they make a lot more changes to their game week in and week out than Hearthstone does. Hearthstone is making more changes than ever before, and they're balancing the game more than ever before, but they're also taking more risks and trying to do really cool stuff. And we can't have our cake and eat it too. We can't be like, yo, we don't want another Rossicon's Rumble, but then we can't say like, well, fuck you for printing a really good busted card and then, nerfing it when you actually need it. Like, we need to give them time to figure this stuff out.
This belly is a result of having your cake and eating it too.
Oh God.
So let's hope for the best and be prepared for the worst. I hope I don't sound like an idiot next week, but I do think that I can't imagine that they change this without making some testing internally, right? Mm-hmm. So we'll see, and keep in mind, guys, we haven't had any time to think about this stuff. It popped up, and here we are. We recorded at a perfect time.
Yeah, no, and I really appreciate the folks in chat that let us know. I mean, I think there were several different people that all let us know and provided links to it, and that just fixed the show for the week. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I agree. I think what GulDaniel was saying is true, right? We're at a place where the devs are listening more than before, reacting faster than ever before. And that's pretty cool to have a game. Like, what other video game can you play that has an issue and the devs jump in and make relatively frequent changes? Like, that's awesome.
Well, there's a lot, but yeah, it is.
Well,
nice.
I mean,
I play Madden all the time, and I don't think EA flying about what I can.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It is cool, though. I agree with you, Nate. I echo your sentiment.
EA was having this big sale, this like spring break sale or something like that, and I went on and bought all the Mass Effect games for the computer. And then I logged into my Origin library, and like none of them were there. You've got 0 games in your library, and the servers were all down. It's like, I tried to email them, it does not working. I tried to go to the tech support. It goes, 404 not found. Sorry, something's wrong. Well, so I appreciate that the devs are listening, and as opposed to EA, who Anyways, but one I think one last thing from the AMA that we saw was that they are open to doing additional nerf reversion similar to what they did with Raza. That in the future they're open to revisiting this, which is cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm very happy. What do you guys think about the nerf reversions? Have you been happy with that? I mean, I don't think it really made all that big of a difference to the meta aside from Raza. I mean, Raza's the big one, right? But everything else, I think, was not super noticeable.
I'm almost having a hard time remembering what they all were. I know it was Giggling Adventure hasn't seen nothing.
No, I mean, we all started playing. We started
Spiteful.
playing Yogg again.
Yeah,
And
Yogg.
We started playing Yogg in the Druid decks, right?
Not as much anymore.
Mountain Giant was like the first.
Sorry, GulDaniel?
You cut out.
Oh, I said Mountain Giant before.
Oh, Molten Giant.
Molten Giant, sorry, was the one I've seen a little bit of play. Like,
yeah.
It's been good, and personally, I kind of add the reverts in with the buffs, and I thought when they buffed cards, it was a super cool thing for the game, and I hope it's something that maybe once a year we do get buffs to us.
Well, they also mentioned that buffs are gonna like not just reversions, but they are open to buffing as well. I don't know if we have that question or not, but I did read that in the AMA that they said they probably won't do it the way that they did with the Rise of the Mechs, where but they said that they are open to trying to buff certain cards, and they actually gave a couple examples. And off the top of my head, I can't remember exactly what they were, but there was a few cards that they said like these are a couple that we've thought about doing it. So I'm hoping that we see some buffs.
Yeah, for sure.
One of those cards that they mentioned was Valgis. Apparently isn't strong enough in standard, which they might need to buff him, which I'm all for it because that card is bunk.
Which one's Valgis? Is that the one where you draw
hand manipulation one? Draw 4 cards for 7 mana.
Yeah.
4 and create add your hand size +2.
Oh god, I love that card. Yeah,
very cool.
So cool. He's so strong, and I kind of view him in the same lane of Lord Godfrey as which one do you put in your?
Yeah.
Godfrey is a little overkill on the removal. Lord Valgis is a little greedy, but you can pick one depending on the.
Well, just play, bro. You just play Reno and play both. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. So that's crazy. Holy crap! We've been overloaded with news today, which is so exciting. It's nice and wild to have this much.
I know, right?
Much news.
And so normally we would talk about a deck of the week, and instead of one, we got 3. So these are all. I mean, these all look good. But let me. I think I want to shift over to GulDaniel. You can talk about them a little bit more. Maybe we go in order because you kind of had a story with them. I think it was one that you had used to hit Legend, one that you were planning post nerf, and then the other one is kind of a homebrew that you've been working on. Is that right?
Yes. So all 3 of them, I've actually to Legend at least 1 month.
Okay.
In the last 3 or 4 months. The first one, this Death Rattle Hunt. Started naming my decks off of other classes. It's kind of just a fun gimmick. I really wanted to play Enhanced Dreadlord come rotation and then Terran Gorfiend. I think that Enhanced Dreadlord takes the place of Voidlord in any Warlock deck that wants to play Doomguard.
Yeah, that card's nuts.
It's so insane. And the best thing about it is with Ebonlock and with Gul'Dan, the pools of demons are so much better than when you played Voidlord previously, that it makes Merchant better, it makes Voidlord better, and it still provides enough defense that they have to get through this taunt and then the Lifesteal Demon. That Voidlord is so insane, but it's actually good enough, and any aggressive Warlock should be a consideration. Now this is a thing that I differ from a lot of Warlock players. I don't like sense in a lot of like Doomguard lists or lists that have multiple demons because I hate getting Doomguard or Voidlord, not getting my Void Caller when I need to. But I think this list is pretty good just to have one. The egg package is good, but Terran Gorfiend is the other new card in the set, and he is insane. I mean, he acts as kind of like a cube activator. He acts as kind of like a mini cube. He acts as like I don't know. He pops everything. He's very versatile. With Gul'Dan, you're reviving big demons and stuff like that. He's an insane card, and I think this deck is just starting to scratch the surface. Like this is, kind of the egg lock shell. You've got the eggs and the genius and Terran, but Sack Pack obviously I think is going to come out of the deck now because of the change it was in because of Demon Hunter. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to slot in there. Probably an additional egg and maybe a little. There may be an Albatross considering. I'll probably play Albatross as actually. Price is going to be.
And you don't like Sack Pack enough on its own, eh? Like just for the Void Collar trigger.
Personally, I've never been a with this deck has so many poppers or ways to pop Void Collars itself that I think with the Sack Pack nerf just being limited to your own, and Sack Pack always had the additional buff of being good against a Warlock.
Yeah, and Demon Hunter lately.
What's the other one? It doesn't look like you're running it. What is it? It's the 1 mana that kills your friendly thing and gives you health.
Dark Pack, yes, I love Dark Pack. See, if I were to run Sack Pack or Dark Pack, personally,
you play Dark Pack right now. You said.
I don't know if I'm going to play it right now, but if I had to pick right now,
what if it healed you for 8 still?
100%.
Oh man, I loved that when before it got nerfed. Yes.
Dark Pack was an absolutely insane. I think in any cube egg, I think Power Overwhelming is probably 2 right now. 1 egg, 1 Power Overwhelming.
Yeah, that works. I
hate Power Overwhelming.
I do too. See, personally, I've not been a big fan, but it's a good enough. Or like I hate it. And an egg cube block list at least.
Okay. Cool. So, what are your matchups like in this one, GulDaniel?
I think this is pretty good against most decks. Yeah, what I do when I deck build is I really try to be as versatile. With the Doom Guards, you're a little bit more aggressive, but you still got your defense. Valdress is definitely greedier, but I find in Egg Cube versions, I want to play Valdress because I tend to run out of cards. As for matchups, it's fairly good. You kind of missed you have to be the aggressor. You're definitely more mage than some of the other decks. Expired Merchant, if you've got Skull, you want to just copy an extra Dreadlord, an extra Morganis. You don't want to save it for the Gul'Dan. You need to really...
Unless you're in like the mirror, right?
Right. Unless you absolutely need to be in that matchup.
Cool. GulDaniel.
Yeah.
Nate and I are going to talk about your deck for a second. Can you hang up your call and call back because we need to try to work.
You keep cutting in and out.
Connection is crazy. All right, so now that GulDaniel's gone, let's say a lot of mean things. Oh, is he back?
Too soon.
Yeah, hopefully that'll work. Sometimes that's all it takes.
Actually, I'm going to run the restaurant.
Cool. We'll continue for a few minutes without you.
Oh God, I
love. You go ahead, Nate.
Yeah, I was just gonna say this is my favorite deck of all time, or this. I mean, not this version per se, but like this archetype. I love Q Block, absolutely love it. I miss playing Sylvanas in it. I feel like I like that card in this deck.
I forgot it used to play Sylvanas.
Well, and some versions run N'Zoth also. So one of his other versions has N'Zoth.
I find it crazy that Sense Demon has become basically core, where back in the day we weren't really playing it that often.
Well, I think we had Possessed Lackey. Was it Possessed Lackey or what is it called? The Lackey that would...
I think it was Possessed Lackey at 5.
Yeah, when it was cheaper and the death rattle was to summon a demon from your deck, then it wasn't needed. But
I do like the inclusion of Faceless Manipulator. That's always feels like it can be pretty nuts in the deck, especially like if you pull out. I know your favorite card, am I mistaken? Is your favorite card of all time Morganis?
I don't know. Maybe this deck. I love the new Enhanced Dreadlord. I pulled 2 golden copies, so I was really excited. And this is good.
Yeah, I like the life gain off of it, and it comes down a turn earlier. It's bigger, like it can be more aggressive with it.
Daniel, what do you think about running Sylvanas in this list?
I think Sylvanas is more of a consideration in the next list.
I
would have pointed out when you're running the Zoth as well.
Yeah.
Is Valdris just to be cute?
No, Valdris is because I think the egg version runs out of steam a little bit, and around turn 7 or 8, you kind of really need that hand refill to keep going and keep the pressure on your opponent.
Interesting.
And
okay.
I think it's a little bit better than Godfrey because you don't necessarily, you're going to have eggs. This doesn't have a lot of eggs, but with geniuses, your librarian, Terran Gorfine being copying stuff, by that point, you really don't want to be clearing the board necessarily, but continuing to apply pressure and Doomguard lists. I think Valdris is really good.
And what do you want to discard with Merchant?
Merchant, I mean, in the Mirror Gul'Dan, but I'm very liberal with the Merchant. Dreadlord is fine. Mal'Ganis is just fine. If you have the skull up, just grab a big demon.
Yeah.
It's mostly just to get that extra Gul'Dan in any long matchup because we aren't running this off. There's just too many death rattles that are rough, and sometimes you might get the Ebon Lock. It's not often, but it's the Prime version at least to say. And this version is also sick with the Prime.
Oh yeah.
Dreadlord is if you can draw the Prime, and then if you don't have Skull up or play it before the Skull pulls it. I mean, it's a free 7/6, which isn't bad, but I mean, the demons it summons back are considerably better than when you have a Void Lock.
Yeah, no, that's true. Okay, so here's the next version that you gave us, and this does run N'Zoth, which I like. You called it Hate Lock. Is that you've got the Albatrosses and the Geist in here? It's pretty good.
Yeah.
So what are the main differences here? I'll put the other one back up on the screen too, but
okay, so main difference is this one's a lot more of a traditional control lock, and this is the one I played this month to Legend actually.
Okay.
For the most part, because I think my recent list omitted the darkness. That's more of a personal favorite.
Oh, the darkness! I totally missed it. Well, so you're shuffling candles and Albatross into their deck.
When Raza Priest first came out, I played this almost extensively and farmed them super hard. It was fantastic.
Oh my god, I love the darkness. It's like that's my I don't know, like guilty pleasure card.
Right.
I guess I'm wondering why Void Lord in this deck instead of Enhanced Dreadlord. It seems like Enhanced Dreadlord is still kind of, I don't know, it feels better to me a little bit, especially where you don't have any 8 drops in this deck or 7 drops for that matter. I'm a little curious. I guess maybe you'd like it better off in N'Zoth, but
okay, so this is kind of the point I was making earlier about Sense Demons and then the comparison between Enhanced Dreadlord and Void Lord. In this deck, I omitted the Doomguard, so my demon pool is a little bit tighter. And Mal'Ganis is actually the one that's kind of on the edge where I don't know if I'll run it all the time, depending on how hot the aggro is. But Void Lord between Enhanced Dreadlord and Void Lord is Enhanced Dreadlord is 7 taunt, 5 lifesteal potential. So once they get through the 7 taunt, they're going phase. Void Lord is 9 taunt on the front end and at least potentially up to 9 taunt on the back end. So you're out. This deck is more of a control deck. I'm sitting on my back foot. Cuban trying to really win that fatigue matchup through, Cuban Void Lords or Cuban Birds or, multiple Gul'Dan turns with the Merchant, the Faceless, and things like that. So this one's definitely your more control deck. Probably what I'll be playing. I mean, the balance patches are live. This is probably what more I'll be playing.
Are those live?
That's what it sounds like.
It seems like it.
That's what we heard, but we've been on the show, so I haven't played. Aside from checking my arena wins.
I thought they just announced it. I didn't know they went live with it. No, it's early next week.
No, they're not live. They've been released. That's what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Then I'll be playing this one when they go live, and it's definitely more tech. Skulking Geist is for the druids.
Yeah.
I'm definitely a player that likes to have my core and then tech it for my meta. I believe Major Tom finished high level with a Q block very similar to this one. But N'Zoth is good. You copy N'Zoth with Merchant, Gul'Dan. Depending on your matchup, do you need more aggression with N'Zoth generally? Provides with cubes and Albatross is returning, or defense with Gul'Dan.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, and then you've got one other list here that you gave us that's got some dragons in it, which I think is pretty awesome. And I have to say, I don't know how to pronounce it. Zeraku, the Warped, the Warlock dragon, is freaking awesome. Man, no, I mean, I love it. No, okay, so I'm playing. I'll have to send it to you after the show, but I got it, I think, from the China server. I'm playing an Even Warlock that runs dragons, and they run that in the Even Warlock. And I've had, because you can life tap for one, and you got a whole board full of dragons. I mean, it's just it's pretty bonkers. It's and the synergy that it's got with the Netherwing is pretty crazy. So this list looks really fun.
Okay, yeah. So this list I came up with because I play on a couple other servers. My EU is a free to play, and my favorite cube block was the OG standard one with Spellstones and Hellfire and Librarians and stuff like that. And Netherwing just happens to activate Spellstone. And this list doesn't have Spellstone. It has sack packs because it's Demon Hunter. It'll go back to Spellstones post this, so it'll be the same list with that. But I was kind of playing it because it's cheaper, it was free to play, and I was winning with it. And I stumbled into Legend on EU like the last day, and I started the month playing it the next month. And my personal best finish is actually with a deck very similar to this. The Dragon package is surprisingly good. Evasive Worm is like a removal spell. It removes something, leaves the body. Spellstone removes something, heals yourself. Albatross is at 4/3 was just really, really good. They're aggressive. You could cube them, and that messed with a lot of decks. Netherwing is quietly an insane card. 5 mana, 5/5, deal 3 to everything, and then you have a 5/5 body. Nether Breath kills things. You can go face. A lot of Warlocks tap themselves down, and then ping, ping, Nether Breath, you're dead. It's a weird looking deck at first. I've actually given the list out to several people. I've hit Legend with it, hidden some high Legend people finish it. You're not going to see it in any meta reports or anything. It's a homebrew I stumbled upon. I loved playing dragons. Malygos is probably my best deck technically. I'd say there are a lot of really good Q-Block decks, so I'm not going to say I'm the best Q-Block player ever. Like, I'm not going to go that far. But
Sure you are. Not with that attitude, but
if I were to lay a claim to fame with the deck, it was the DoD version of Malygos.
Nice. You know, there is a little, like, now that Bad Luck Albatross is going to be probably not good enough. Like, we'll see. You could fit Prince Tal'Daram in here pretty easily.
Exactly. Like, Prince Tal'Daram is, unfortunately, it's left out of all these lists. And I sent you, Nate, I believe, a list of cards that you can consider in Q-Block. Like, the shell is so strong that, there are optimal lists, but I feel like I can really sub in Prince Tal'Daram. My favorite list of Q-Block isn't featured here, is Soul Warden. I love having double Soul Warden because I can play Doom Guards with Reckless Abandon and be super aggressive. And then, it doesn't matter what I discard because I'm going to get it back later in the game.
Okay. I like that.
That was a list. I've taken Q-Block actually admittedly like 6 or 7 times, and it's always a different list. All of these lists, the Soul Warden list, the OG list.
That Soul Warden list was so cool. Like the one that like Soul Warden always summoned itself back was insane.
Oh yeah, the Infinite one, and there's just a lot of insane Q-Block lists that are potential, but you as EK would say, it's a Void Caller Void Lord deck, and those seem to be pretty good.
Yeah. Super cool. Well, I'll have to look back. What other cards are on your potential sub-in list?
Let's see. I definitely got the Spellstones are there. Dark Skies is only in one of these lists. I think if you're not playing Ace, you want to be playing Dark Skies for sure. Are probably in the Dragon list with Albatross being 4 mana. It's kind of weird. I don't know how Albatross really fits in now. But
yeah, it seems like it's an effect you'd still want, but it's just too expensive. It'd be better if they just made it a 2/2 even, like you'd still consider it.
Exactly. I think if it was a 2/2, I'd still play it just for the effect. And it's like, if you don't kill us, I'm gonna cube it.
Yeah.
And so it's gonna be interesting to see how these lists affect. Serpent Egg is something I left out of a lot of lists. Lord Godfrey,
Spirit Singer Umbra.
Spirit Singer Umbra for sure can be in the hate lock. If I was taking out the darkness, I'd probably put an Umbra right away there. Evil Geniuses, Dark Pacts. There's a lot.
Very cool. I really like these lists. I really like the dragon one. I think that's my
favorite. It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend playing it. Well, it's more mid-rangey than the other ones, but you apply a lot of pressure. People don't expect it, and when you nether breast someone in the face, and they're just
Have you delved into even Warlock at all since the expansion?
It is something I'm trying now. It's one of the decks I've been playing actually the most since.
I'll send you guys the list that I have. I don't remember where I got it anymore, but I'll send it.
I've been trying it out a little more lately, and it seems I really want to make the big demon package work in it, where now the problem with even Warlock before is that your N'Zoth was bringing back like a 4/4 and a 2/4, but now you can actually play Void Color in the deck. You could put the Dreadlord, the big 8-mana demon in there, and actually do some kind of cool stuff. And I've been trying to play that new 4-mana draw a demon or draw a minion spell, make it cost 5 less.
Yeah.
Because it just seems like even Warlock is the place where that would kind of work, because you're always going to have a full hand. And it seems like it's half decent. I'll send you my list over too and see what you think. See how close it is to yours. I'm curious. GulDaniel's if you guys have any cool Warlock lists, I'm sure GulDaniel wouldn't mind at least seeing them. He might not be able to answer everyone, but I'm sure he'll take a look at them anyway.
And you know what?
Sorry to cut you off, Nate, real quick, but I know there's like a stigma about like the net decking culture or whatever, but if you're not net decking, you're generally getting a list from a friend, first of all. But it's not even net decking. Like if I'm on Twitter and Nate posts a list that he hit legend with, I'm going to take a look at it. If it's something I'm interested in, I'm going to save it. I'm going to save the picture. If Craig posts a list, I'm going to save it. And then when I go to build a Warlock deck, it doesn't matter like who it is, if Shia posts a list or if Corbett posts a list or if Rod posts a list. I'm going to go build my Warlock deck, and then I'm going to pull up all 5 of those lists I've saved and be like, you know what, this is probably what they were thinking. This is what they were thinking in this situation. Maybe this card is something I consider that I haven't thought of before. And I take all of that information and I apply it to all these Warlock decks. Like these are all technically homebrew Warlock decks. And there's, lists out there that are 1 or 2 cards, away, lists that are probably, maybe a little bit more optimal, but this is the list that plays to my play style. And, but I didn't come up on these lists by myself. I humbled myself a little bit and been like, you know what, maybe there's someone else with a good idea out there that has something that I can take from and use. And, I didn't necessarily, I net decked all of these technically, but at the same time, like these are all like my own homebrews.
Sure.
Because it's a collaboration of free things. And that's, sorry, I don't mean to get on this rant. I just kind of like came up with it. And when people like are on Reddit bitching about these meta reports, it's a free resource. Use it, love it, appreciate it. Like these people putting a lot of work on it. The Tempo Storm guys putting a lot of work in what they do. The Rank Star guys putting a lot of work in what they do. Vicious Syndicate puts a lot of work in what they do. Like, love it, appreciate it, and like use it to your advantage. Like, don't hate on Tempest Storm because they put freaking this deck at tier 1. Like, try to understand why they put that deck at tier 1.
Right. Or don't use it.
Exactly. If you don't think it's tier 1, don't play it. Like, don't do whatever you want to do. But if they think it's tier 1, try to understand why they do it. They put it there for a reason. People have opinions, and like the best thing about Hearthstone, and the thing I grew as a player the most, is when I realized like I'm not the best. Like there are people out there better than me. There are people out there that have different ideas than me. And you look at Hearthstone, like the best players are always the best. It's an RNG based game, but they still produce really well. You can get better. You can understand. You can master this game. But you have to humble yourself and learn how to watch people and learn. before you can get better. But if you go in and like, I know all the answers, then you've lost the game before you've already even started. Sorry, I didn't mean to rant like that.
No, that's good. That's good. We can. Hey, Craig, you can ask his advice this week instead of mine.
Wait, what's that, Nate? I missed that.
I said you can ask his advice this week instead of mine.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you though, GulDaniel. That is so frustrating. Especially we have friends who work on these lists.
Yeah, no, I agree, and they put a lot of hard work into it.
Yeah.
Like, appreciate it, and if you don't want to use it, then don't use it. But like,
and like the tier doesn't matter. It's nice to see what they think. It's nice to compare these all. And at the end of the day, if one guy thinks it's tier 1 and one guy thinks it's tier 2, who gives a shit? Like,
well, and if
happy that there's a resource, like you said.
Yeah, well, and if nothing else, you can see what other people are playing, and then you know, put in tech cards to counter what the meta reports are saying to play. Right? I mean,
right.
So your core list is going to have a few slots for tech cards, and you can always tweak those around the meta.
I play one class. Like, if I
what class?
If I
Warrior,
didn't
must
pay
be
attention or like try to learn from others, like I wouldn't be nearly the player I am today.
Yeah.
Like, and the thing is, like, even still, like, you can give me Quest Mage, the best deck in the game, and I'm gonna play it like crap. But you can give me like Hakar Warlock, and I'll play it better than I was playing Quest Mage just because I know the deck. But like, I understand that. And if someone's like, "Hey, man, like you took a couple of lines long," but like, I mean, obviously in your respective circle, like, you know, there's your backseat players. But like, if someone like approaches me, it's like, "Hey, you took a couple of lines long," I'm gonna humble myself and be like, "Hey, like, you know, I'm gonna learn." So next time I don't do it.
Yeah.
It's like when I was coaching EK. Love you, EK.
I always laugh when someone plays one game with a deck and be like, "That's bad. I'm not playing it."
No. I always say, like, you need to play 10 games to see if you like it, and then 25 games to see if like it's truly something that fits you, and that to try to start to get an understanding of a deck before you can't write a deck off because of
No, you're right.
You guys like burritos?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's time that we treat this podcast kind of like a burrito and wrap it up, because we've been going very long. We're about 2 hours in, just about, and we would have went shorter, but who knew we were going to get those nerf announcements as we were recording, which is awesome. So, I guess, is there anything else that we need to get to before we go? Am I forgetting something here?
Oh, hey, no, let me tell you one thing. We for our podcast listeners, we totally forgot to go over the cards in the deck list. So
there's 3 lists. How about we just put the codes in the show notes?
Yeah, there's 3 lists, and we'll put the codes in the show notes, and then we'll post the pictures on Twitter. So apologies. The core list of each one is relatively the same, but we'll post the pictures and the lists in both the notes and on Twitter.
You can come into our Discord too and find us there. I have no clue how. Just ask us for it. Tweet at us and ask to join. I don't know how to do it.
I need to get a permanent link.
Yeah, we'll get a permanent link and we'll put it on our Twitter. But until then, just ask around. Ask me or Nate. My DMs are open. I think Nate's are.
Yep.
So yeah, give us a shout and tell us why we're garbage and why you love us. So if you want to tell me why I'm garbage and why you love me, I'm at Craig of Canada on Twitter. That's CRAIG of Canada on Twitter. GulDaniel, how about you, buddy? Where can these fine folks find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Twitch like once a month at GulDaniel. Spelt like it sounds, except for the L's are all ones, because one day I'll hit number 1. Not yet. My personal high is actually 11 bits because they're 2 L's. But one day I'll get there. You can find me there, and then you can find the Hearthstoners, and eventually we'll have Craig and Nate on to hang out with us.
Hey, that'd be fun.
It's a reckless time. No show notes, no nothing. We just hang out, and you guys have to bring your preferred drink of choice. We try to like get you all liquored up and
there you go.
Secrets.
I'm bringing breast milk.
All right, Tormund. Like, settle down. But you can find the podcast at THC Hearthstone. We tweet a lot of stuff from our friends. Like, it's good, just Hearthstone Hub. Completely unbiased. You know, there are 9 other classes apparently that should get some love but won't. You can find me there in the podcast there. Thank you so much, guys, for having me on. I had an absolute blast talking to you guys.
Oh,
yeah,
dude, you're
this
one of my
was
favorite
great.
people.
Agree,
You're one of my
100%.
favorite people in the Discords. You know, you're always there.
Thanks, man. I appreciate
Unchain Raza is hilarious.
it.
Or Chain Raza, you know.
Chain Raza, hashtag Chain Raza. We're gonna be asking for it soon. It's fun.
Oh, yeah,
I
we
bet.
probably will.
So yeah, and Nate Wolf, where can they find you and then the show?
Yeah, so you can find me primarily on Twitter at NateWolfTCG. It's NateWolfe TCG. As far as the show goes, Twitter is probably the best place. It's at BornToBeWildHS. You can email the show at BornToBeWildHS@gmail.com. We've got lots and lots of content on YouTube at youtube.com/BornToBeWildPodcast. And I think that's probably the most of it. If you're interested in joining the Discord until we get a permanent link, just add us or DM us or something like that, and we can send you an invite to the Discord. So yeah, but this is always a blast. This is what I look forward to each week, and to hang out with friends and chat about this game that we love and have a good time. I think. Provided that you guys have a little bit of extra time, we can do some co-op if you're still interested.
Yeah, I am.
Sign me up.
Rock and roll.
Yeah, and for the podcast listeners, almost every week we do a co-op right after we stream live on Fridays. So if you ever want to be here live, you can be here to see that. And if not, you can, we're on the YouTube. We're keeping you guys with tons of content all the time. Our YouTube isn't really taking off too much, but we'd love it if you guys checked it out at least and liked a video here and there. Give us a comment to let us know that it's worth doing. You don't want us to turn out like Tier 5 or Into the Wild and not feel appreciated enough, because we'll leave. We'll fucking leave.
Oh my god. And you heard that on Born to Be Wild.
Yeah. Nate, can you play the buffer? I need some advice. And now, unrelated advice with Nate Wolf. So Nate, I guess lately I've been feeling a little discouraged because we have this awesome YouTube channel, Born to Be Wild, youtube.com/BornToBeWild podcast. And we put so much effort into it. And lately I just feel like not enough people are listening. So what should I do to keep myself encouraged and feel like it's worth doing? You know what I mean? Like, what do you do?
I think, you want legit advice. I think consistency is important. I think one of the things that we've been trying to do is post 3 or 4 things per week and try to be regular about the days. Every day we've got the podcast coming out on Saturday and the parody song coming out on Monday, and and we've got our co-op gameplay coming out on Wednesday and one of our old songs on Thursday, and just the consistency is key, and we'll take off sooner or later. I would defer to Slizzle and Raffle and Solemn and Zeddy and some of these other guys that have a bazillion followers, but I will get there. We'll get there. Just ask Astroflame. You just got to believe.
Yeah.
Oh, great. I feel a lot better now. And GulDaniel, what about you? What keeps you motivated to create your content?
Hey man, it's this awesome community. I don't think I'd still be in it. I'd be playing for sure, but still creating content if it wasn't for people like you guys, people like the Rotted Zombies chat and everybody, a positive group that really uplifting people, always cheering each other on. It doesn't matter if you're hitting rank 5 or you're hitting, platinum 3, if that's your personal record, we're rooting on you. It doesn't matter. We're all here to have fun, have a good time, and we're a loving community. And I was penning something to release on our 1 year, just thanking some people in the community and everything. This community has meant so much. I'm not the player I am if this community isn't so loving. If it wasn't for you guys liking stuff or rooting people on, being yo, that's crazy, do this, do that. I've never had internet friends like this. Before. I've never played a game that had this. Like, I consider some of these people in the community, like, I can't go in names for forever. Some are like really good friends now. And
I honestly consider Nate a lover.
And it's really special what we have. And like, you know, there's going to be some ups and downs. It's a small community. We're going to have our bickering and everything like that. Yeah. But like, love each other, you know, have fun, love each other, and we'll all get through it. We'll get through this Quest Mage or Roux or whatever the fuck is going on.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful. This episode goes out to Into the Wild and Tier 5.
Yep.
Shout outs to you guys. Wiser words have never been spoken, and you heard that on Born to be Wild.